Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to narrate a story that we have all heard before. And it's a story about the creation of this world and then the people of Israel. I have not come here to narrate or to create a new story for people to listen to me. But I'm coming to reveal the truth that has been hidden for so many centuries that we don't even know who are the Israelites and what brought this earth and why mankind is on this planet called Earth. Before we come to the story, let me tell everybody how I got this information. It was all in a dream. It just started one day when I was on bed, and in a dream I heard somebody kissing me, and I opened my eyes, not physically but in the dream, and I saw a very young man standing by my bed. In fact, I was furious because I was expecting a lady to kiss me, not a man like myself. So I was glancing at his face and he was also looking at me. And all the thought that I had in mind is that this man is a homosexual and why is he doing this to me? So I was furious. And all of a sudden the man pulled out from his pocket a key holder. And on the key holder was hanging a small transparent cross. And he handed it over to me and I took it. So after that he vanished. So the next morning I was contemplating on this very dream, and the interpretation that came into my mind was that person who kissed your mouth is in a spirit but has a story for the whole world, and because he's in the spirit, that is why he put the words in your mouth, and he also give you the keys to the truth. So that is the transparent cross that was hanging on the key holder. So when I listened very carefully to this interpretation, I said to myself, what might be the information? Okay. The next 3 days, he came back in a dream again. And the question he asked me is that, do you know who is a Hebrew? Then I said, yes. Then he said, who? Then I said, oh, it's Netanyahu and his people. Then he said to me, no, they are not, but it's you and your people. So go and tell them. In fact, when I heard that, I laughed it out and I said to myself, everybody knows that I'm a Ghanaian. So why then will I go and tell people that I'm a Hebrew? So I just brushed it out. Then, the following week, 1 week later, I have been praying in the night. And after my prayer, I have to sleep because the next day I have to catch a train to go to job. But the sleep was not coming. So all I said to myself is that, let me on the television while I was still on bed. And I think that will take me on. So when I on the television, it was an Italian station called Rai Uno, because I was in Italy by then. And as I on it, fortunately for me, the Italians were showing a documentary about the nation of Israel, whom the Roman Empire has fought with them seriously, and they were all running to Africa through the Mediterranean. And the documentary that they were showing, the sketches and everything that was showing to me were black people holding the ark of the covenant on their shoulder. And then I said to myself, could what the guy is telling me in a dream be true? Because here is the white man showing to me the nation of Israel being black people. So I said to myself, no, I have to take heed to what the guy is telling me in the dream, because there might be some truth in it. And right from that time onwards, for 7 good years, I was being taught in a dream about everything that happened under the sun. Showing me the names that has been changed, telling me the stories that were changed and everything. And I said to myself, this is a great story that my people must know. And even told me that I have to write them down for the end time. But you see, because of job, going to job every now and then, coming home late, tired, I couldn't write them. And you see, one marvelous thing he did was that he was able to contact somebody in Ghana, that is my friend, who was also a pastor, called Osomafuo, to tell me and warn me that he has told me to write it and I'm refusing to write the story. So one day, this pastor friend called me on phone and said, "Pa, I have had a dream about you." That time I don't have documents, so I said, "Did you dream about me having a document?" He said, "No, but I saw you in a dream that they are putting a paper and pen in front of you to write something, but you are refusing to write it." And I said to myself, wow, this guy has gone to Ghana to inform, to tell somebody to warn me. Then this is serious, I have to write them. So the following, that very weekend, I took to myself, sat down and wrote 4 pages only. And I saw them on my computer. And in that very night too, I saw a hand without the arms, only the palm, holding a pen and endorsing what I've written. Then I said to myself, this is a very serious. It's a very serious issue. I have to be serious with it. So from that time onwards, everything he teaches me in a dream, even if I challenge him, he will point to me that go here and you will see it. When I go there, it is there. Everything he teaches me, even in the Bible, the things that have been changed, he teaches me all. And everything he teaches me was very perfect. And that is exactly what I want to share with you. I know that many of you, especially my fellow Africans, may disagree with me, because we have all been brainwashed with things that are not truth. And in fact, since I came to Ghana and started telling my story, there are people who are not happy simply because maybe their tribes are not included, or their language or their names has not been found in the story. So sometimes they get furious. But one thing I have to advise everybody is that don't just get furious, because one thing you have to remember is that the nation of Israel was also one nation among all nations under the sun. It was not the only nation under the sun. And there are many nations like the Babylonians, like the Philistines, like the Amalekites, name them. They also was a tribe. They also have many tribes that are not included in the nation of Israel. So if you do not hear your name or your tribe's name, don't get furious, because all we are looking for is the truth that has been hidden from us. So brothers and sisters, I am only speaking this English language for the benefit of our brothers in diaspora. Otherwise, I would have loved to use the original Hebrew language that many of us don't even know that language is the original Hebrew language. Let's start the story that I was taught for 7 years. It's all about the creation. We have all learned from the books that there was a battle in heaven somewhere, and that heaven are also planets, according to what I was told in a dream. You see, it was not exactly a battle. this very place where we are was all waters. There was no land. But you see, the energy that we call spirits lives on other planets with the idea of following the moral laws and being social with free-minded love and kindness. So what happened was that any energy that harbors evil thought will become heavy, and as it becomes heavy, it becomes attracted to the gravitational force here, and the gravitational force itself will pull any heavy object down towards itself. So those that we call the devil and whatever it is, because they were energies just like every energy that lives above, that we call heavens, when it conceives any evil thought, the evil gives it more weight, and therefore it will be attracted to the gravitational force down here, and it will come down here. So those days, those that harbored evil thought were pulled down by the gravitational force, and they all fell into the waters, that is the seas. And after some time, that is so many hundreds of years, the other energies above saw in the first time in their life that this thing has happened. Then they decided that no, it could happen to any of us. So what then do we do? Then they decided to build a rehabilitation center. So the rehabilitation center is where we are living, we call it Earth. So all they could do was to order the waters to go down for the lands to appear. So when the waters started sinking down, the mountains or the hilly areas that was under the water started appearing. And as they all appeared, they were left for many, many years. And as rain was falling on it and sun was shining on it, seeds started germinating. And then vegetation also started. So it never took only one day as a magic or any other thing, but it stood for thousands of years, and jungles started appearing. The weeds and the seeds and the trees became jungles, heavy giant trees. And after that, they decided to create a jacket that any energy that will fall can take on that jacket and to practice righteousness in order to be able to ascend back to where it came from. So that is how man was formed under the sun. And in fact, we all know that the story tells us that men were speaking only one language. And you see, that language is what I am going to talk about. The Bible tells us that the first man was called Adam. A-D-A-M, Adam. In fact, it was not true. It is never Adam. Anybody who argues with me, you can just tell me what language is that word Adam come from, and where can we find the language to go and ask the people whether it is true that they have a word called Adam, which means sun or red. But what I'm going to say have a proof, because I myself don't go by believing things, because I know that beliefs come from assumption, and assumption don't have proof. But all I'm going to say have proofs. So whoever is arguing or challenging this very topic that I'm treating, I have no problem with you. But the only problem I may have with you is that whatever word that you bring out to justify your claim, you have to tell me what language it is and where the people can be found, so that we can go there and assess it. Because the Bible says where Adam lived was a garden, because there was no house by then. Adam lived in a garden, which was supposed to be the garden of Adam. Now here we are, the Bible is claiming that Adam's house was called the Garden of Eden. Who is Eden? Was any person called Adam? For instance, you are David. So if I am going to your house, what am I supposed to say? I am going to David's house. But I can't say you are David and I am going to Daniel's house. No. So whoever is arguing with me must bear it that he will tell me what language and where the people are. But what I'm about to say, I can prove to you the language and which people speaks that language. The man who was created as first man was called Adam. He was called Adam, which means he has taken me out of it. You see, and this man Adam lived for so many hundreds of years. Just one morning, he just wake up to find out his kind, one of his kind, lying beside him. And what he said in his language was, I am going to use the language, then you check it. What he said was, Ma'o Eve. Ma'o Eve. I have become two. So the word Eve means two, the second in command. It is not evil, it's Eve. So that is the truth. And Adam and the wife Eve stayed for many years, and after that had a child. And that child was also called Cain. It is K-A-I-N, Cain. Then they turned it and wrote C-A-I-N and said Cain. But you see, pronouncing C-A and say K, we all know that the alphabet A, when formed a word, is never pronounced A again. It's pronounced A. You see, so if it is C-A, why do you say K? It's wrong pronunciation that will lead you astray. But the original word was Cain, the first who came. So brothers and sisters, I will end up with you here. The language that was spoken first, as I've told you, was originally called Bebe. The first language that was spoken was called Bebe. So today, I end up with you. Assess it very carefully. And if you have any challenge, I am prepared to listen to your challenge. Not merely challenge, but proving me wrong by telling me where I can find the name Adam and the meaning. Because I have shown you that this language was first called Adam. And Adam can be found among our brothers and sisters who are called the Ewes, who live in Ghana now and also live in Togo, some of them in Togo and Benin. So this was the first language that man spoke before languages came out of it. I'll end here, then proceed the next time with continuation of my message. Thank you very much for listening to me. Assess it very well and bring your suggestions. It will be accepted. Thank you very much.